All right. Good morning. I have with me this morning Chris Grace, and he's a recent graduate of the Unfinished Story, a shortened version of Kairos, if you like. I'm looking forward to talking with Chris and hearing more about his experience with the Unfinished Story. So welcome, Chris. Good to have you.
Good to be here, Chris. Good to share with you and whoever might be listening to.
Thanks for making the time. Chris, could you tell us a bit about yourself? I know we met up when I was in Melbourne a couple of years ago, but for the people that don't know you, if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us a little of who you are and what you've been doing in the course of your life.
Thanks, Chris. Look, originally from Sydney, grew up in Sydney, worked in AMP for a number of years there, and then set off travelling around the world trying to find a reason for living, I guess, and had my reconciliation with the Lord literally in the jungle area of Peru. And I didn't come home for 11 years. I went to a Bible college in Paraguay and studied there, finished that, doing it in Spanish, and met my wife over in South America. She's of Italian heritage, daughter of missionaries. And so we sort of started our mission career over there on the field before I got involved as an official missionary with a sending agency here, the Assemblies of God. So we fulfilled about 20 years in South America, Chris, from around the mid-70s to the mid-90s. And we served in Paraguay, Bolivia and Chile, those three nations, mainly in Bible school teaching, but also in tent evangelism. We managed a big tent in the nations of Bolivia and Chile. It's a very suitable way of presenting the gospel in those countries.
Yes.
Then we came back mid-90s, and I worked in our missions office for 7 years with personnel and as mission secretary. And then we went back into full-time ministry for another 6 years here in Melbourne, Chris. And in more recent years, we've been involved with itinerant ministry among our emerging multinational ethnic churches here in Melbourne. We have about 90 of them from many different nations. And look, it's a real honour, a blessing, a privilege to be just helping them, ministering with them as they reach out here in this important city.
Wow. Thanks, Chris. It's been quite a history, and
been quite a journey.
Sounds like you're still enthusiastic and passionate for the Lord and for His work, which is awesome because you've got grey hair, a bit like me, and it's good to know that we can still be bearing fruit in our older,
Amen. Yes, indeed.
older years. Wonderful. So, Chris, what prompted you to take the Unfinished Story? What was it that motivated you there?
Yeah, Chris, while I was in our missions office, I decided to do the Perspectives course. That was some years ago, which I enjoyed. As you know, it's in two parts, and it takes you nearly a year to finish the entire course. But I took TUS. I wanted to get mainly a bit of an update, particularly on the strategic cultural sections of the course. I was aware that it's a condensed version of Perspectives or Kairos, but because I hadn't sort of looked at a lot of the present state of missions in the world right now, today, I thought I'd like to do that course to get, as I say, an update on where we're at, what's the state of the unreached situation in the world. But also I am involved in a local church here in Melbourne, and I thought this could be the sort of course that I might be able to teach for those who are interested, because our church has a definite missions burden, missions outreach. They're involved in several nations. And I thought this would be a good preparation perhaps for a number of people in our church as well. And also possibly for some of our multinational churches to encourage them to get involved with missions right now that we're still facing.
Very good. So Chris, you've recently finished the TUS course, and what was your experience of that? What was some of the highlights, takeaways for you?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I thought it's very clear, very comprehensive in its covering of those four main sections: the biblical, historical, strategic and cultural, those four perspectives relating to missions, are very well presented. Thank you for your involvement as one of the presenters. A team of people shared very creatively, always kept your interest up and covered each section, I thought, very, very well. And certainly whetted my appetite, and I imagine the appetites of those who were with us on the course, just to want to know more, dig a little more deeply. Hopefully some or many of them who haven't done it, would like to do the longer Kairos course, just so that they could become a bit more informed or abreast of the materials which undergird the course. But overall, look, very well done, very well presented. And I certainly would endorse anybody who's interested in missions and wants to get an overview and a preparation, biblically, historically, strategically and culturally. Highly recommend the course. Very well done in the 4 sessions that we had.
Very good, Chris. And as you said, it's a transferable course. It's not something that I need to run. With you having gone through the training, you'll be prepared to run the training yourself. So it sounds like you're preparing to, there's options that you've got with both your local church that you're involved with, plus some of these other 90 ethnic churches that you're oversighting. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, that is correct, Chris. And another interesting to mention, as you know, I inquired from yourself whether the materials might be available in Spanish, which they are. And one of our former students who resides in Bolivia is the Latin American facilitator for Perspectives. And so I want to just have a bit more contact with him to make sure that he has access to the TUS materials and maybe Kairos in Spanish for use further afield.
Really good. Well, that's been so encouraging for me to hear that feedback. I'm so lifted up to hear you say that. I know I was able to read your evaluation form, but actually talking in person has it's been a real blessing. So for those that may be wondering what my involvement was, it's that myself and several others, we pre-recorded some videos. So so the TUS is intended to be very reproducible. There's a leader's pack with the leader's guide and all the preloaded videos ready to go. So we'll put more details. We'll put a link at the bottom of this video where you can go and order that material, get some previews of the videos and the printed matter as well. So Chris, is there anything you'd like to add before we wind this up?
No, just to provide that endorsement, Chris, I see it as a very useful tool to be preparing people for the mission task which is before us. I think the Lord is definitely using these materials such as TUS, Kairos and Perspectives to better prepare people to be aware of the dimensions of the task And there's still, as we know, Chris, a work to be done. The harvest is still immense, as the Lord said, and he's still sending out workers. And so grateful that we have these well-prepared, well-presented tools in our hands to better prepare future labourers for the harvest, because the end-time harvest is great and it's being reaped.
Thanks, Chris. Yes, Jesus told us that there's nothing wrong with the harvest, and there's never been anything wrong with the harvest. The harvest is plentiful, but the labourers are few. And but today, with multiplied millions of believers all around the world, the potential harvest force is equally huge. But yes, it needs to be activated. So I agree with you.
Yes.
Prepared. That's right. So TUS is part of the materials to do that.
Amen.
Well, that's been great. Thanks so much, Chris, for your time.
Thanks, Chris.
We really appreciate it and look forward to ongoing friendship and partnership.
Amen. Yes, definitely. I'll see you for the training session next week.
Indeed. We'll be good.
God bless you.
You too. Thanks, Chris.